Hey guys, welcome back to Hustler's algorithm. Today we would be solving this problem flip string to monotonic increasing. So let's go through the problem statement first. A binary string is monotone increasing if it consists of some number of zeros, and this can be possibly none, followed by some number of ones, and again this can also be none. Okay, so they say that we have the string as monotone if it is like we have some zeros which are followed by this ones, or only zeros are there and no ones are there, or only ones are there. Okay, so they say that this is a monotone increasing string, which is a binary string. Now let's go through the actual problem. So you are given a binary string s, and you can flip the ith character of this string s and change it from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0, and we have to return the minimum number of flips to make the string s monotone increasing. Okay, so at any instant what we can do is we can flip this 1 to 0, or we can flip any 0 to 1. Like let's say we flip this 0 to 1, so the string becomes 0 1 0 1 1 0. Okay, so in this manner we have to flip this string such that any 0 can be changed to 1 or any 1 can be changed to 0, and we have to make the given string as monotone increasing. Okay, so let's go through the first example. Here we have 0 0 1 1 0. Okay, so it would be 0 0 1 1 0, and if we flip this 1 and 1, this two ones to zeros, it would be something like 0 0 0 0 and 0. So the flips are 2 here in this case. And now we have another condition, as if we flip this last 0 to 1, so it would be 0 0 1 1 1. Again, this is also a monotonic increasing, and this is also a monotonic increasing because there are only zeros and no ones. Okay, so here the flips are one flip to make it monotone, and here there are two flips to make this monotonic increasing. Okay, so the minimum number of flips is 1, so we can just return 1. Okay, so we have 1 here, and let's go through this test case. Okay, so we have the string as 0 1 0 1 1 0. Okay, now to make it monotone increasing, first thing what we can do is either we can make all these zeros to ones or all these ones to zeros, because there are 3 ones and 3 zeros. So we have one answer as 3 flips. Okay, now let's check if there is another case. Okay, so one thing we can do is we can flip this last 0 to 1, so it would be something like 0 1 0 1 1 1, and again we will flip this 0 to 1. Okay, so it would be 1 1 0 1 1 1 1 1. Okay, so we require this one flip and one flip here, which would be 2 flips. Okay, great, so the answer is 2. Okay, fine. So now let's see how we can solve this and implement the logic. So we took this second test case in order to analyze this. So let's write it once again. It is 0 1 0 and 1 1 0. Now we can see that we have the problem with the string. If we have some zeros followed by some ones, like there can be some number of ones, and if these are followed by these zeros, then this is not acceptable, right? On the other hand, if we have only zeros or only ones, then these are acceptable. Also, if there are some zeros and these zeros are followed by ones, then this is also acceptable. Okay, so the problem is with this type of string. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Okay, so we will start traversing the string and check when the string is problematic, like the ones are followed by zeros. When this condition occurs, then we will perform some flips in order to make the string monotonic increasing. Okay, so Let's have the number of flips which we want as our answer. Okay, so let's start traversing here. For the first part we have 0 and we do not have any ones before this, so still it is monotonic increasing. Let's maintain the number of ones so that we can know when our monotonic string becomes problematic. So the number of ones are 0 initially and flips are also 0. Okay, so at this point we have the number of ones as zeros, so the number of flips would be 0 because it is still monotonic increasing. Let's move forward. Till this point we have 0 and this 0 is followed by 1, so it is acceptable. Now let's increase the number of 1 to 1 because at this point we have the number of ones in this subpart as 1. Great, so we will increase the number of 1 to 1. Now let's move forward. Now till this point we know that we have some number of ones, which is we have 1 1 before this 0, so this means that we need to flip something. So we have two conditions, like we can flip this 1 to 0, so the string becomes 0 0 0, or we can flip 0 0 0 1 1 when we flip this 0 to 1, and these two strings are acceptable, right? So in both of these cases the number of flips would be 1, so we would increase the number of flips to 1. And now if we perform this operation, then the number of 1 would be decremented because there is no 1, so again the number of 1 would be 0. And if this is the case, then there is no problem with the number of ones. So in order to maintain the flips, we can just decrement the number of ones. Okay, now let's move forward. Now till this point we have the number of ones as 1 because we increment the number of 1 when we came across this one. Okay, so again move forward. For this one again increment this, so the number of 1 would be 2 now. Now we came across this part, which is this 0, and now we can see that we have the number of ones as 2 before zeros. Okay, so these 2 ones are there before 0. So if we consider this string and extend it with this 3 bits, so it would be 0 0 0 and 1 1 0, or if we consider this string, then 0 1 1 1 1 0. Okay, so in both of these cases what we can do is we can either flip this 0 to 1 or this 0 to 1 in order to make this monotonic increasing. So both of these strings can be converted to monotonic increasing if we flip this last 0 to 1, so the total number of flips increased would be 1. Okay, which means that we will just increase our flip by 1, which would become 2. So here it would be 2. Great. Now other thing is we have to decrement the number of ones by 1. So we finished traversing the string and we have the flips as 2. Great. Now let's analyze one more test case. Okay, so we have this test case as 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 0. So according to our algorithm, let's maintain the number of flips. And it would be 0, so the number of ones would be 0 again. We can just start traversing from here. So for this part we have only zeros and no ones, so let's move ahead. Only zeros and no ones, so move ahead. Now for this part we have 1, so we will increment this one, number of 1 by 1. Okay, so the number of 1 becomes 1. Now let's move ahead. Again we found 1, so the number of ones would be 2. Now we found 0 and the number of ones is greater than 0 because we have some ones before this 0. So we have to flip something in order to make this sub part of the string to be monotonic increasing. Okay, so let's perform a flip. So the flip would be increased by 1, and we will decrement the number of 1 by 1. So the number of 1 would be 1 now, because we can flip this 1 to 0 and again this 0 to 1 in order to make this something as monotonic. Okay, let's move ahead. Then for this one we will again increment the number of ones by 1. So we have 2 now. Again for this part, excluding this 0, we have 1. So increment the number of 1 by 1. Now we have 3 ones. Now at this point, what we have to do is, as we have the number of ones as greater than 0 before this 0, so we can make a flip. So the number of flips would be 2, and we can decrement this 3 to 2. That is, we decrement the number of ones by 1. Okay, so as we finish traversing, we can return the number of flips, and this flips would be 2. Great. So let's see how we can code this. Let's write the pseudocode for this. Okay, so what we do is we iterate over this string. Let's say it is the character of this string. Now if this character is 1, then we will increase the number of ones by 1. Else if it is 0, then we check if the number of 1, if it is greater than 0, then the string is problematic, and we will increase a flip and decrement the number of 1 by 1, and at the end we can just return our flips. So yeah, this is the pseudocode. Now let's try to code this. Okay, so this is the Java code for this question, and in this code we maintain a variable which will store the number of ones, which is the count of 1, and flips, and this will store the number of flips. So we iterate over this string, and if the character is 1, then we will increase the count of 1 by 1. Else if the character is 0, then we will check if the count of 1 is greater than 0, because in this case we have the string as problematic. So we will increase the flips by 1 and just decrement the count of 1 by 1. Okay, so at the end we can just return these flips, and this will give the correct answer for this question. So thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.